Cannot wait to get into it. That's for later, though. This said, I think it's time for us to go over our map bans. So we're going to see which map we're going to play on in this series. Reminder for everybody: 7-map pool. Ban. We're left with Cafe Dostoevsky as our decider, and that was picked by Talon. They have the chance: Clubhouse or Cafe. So, lady and gentleman, why specifically Cafe? Does it make sense for Talon to go for the pick versus Club?
I mean, it's interesting because both of these teams have had a pretty hard time on Cafe, and I suspect that that's what it comes down to, because Clubhouse, very technical map, very methodical, and with some of those problems I mentioned about Talon before, maybe they don't feel so confident being able to execute that kind of strategy. Cafe, yes, they had a hard time. They lost 2-7 to Fav on this map on Playday too, but they also know that Nora just lost 2-7 to Fnatic on Cafe as well. So maybe they've been able to watch those VODs, figure out how it is that Nora-Rengo played, feel a bit more confident from that regard, and know that they're not necessarily going up against the team who's going to have a massive advantage on a map that they don't feel so comfortable on.
And if you look further back in history, Nora-Rengo does have some decent performances on Cafe. I'm mainly thinking of a 7-3 over Detonation, which is a really strong Japanese team. And that was quite some time ago, though. That was all the way back in January in the Japanese Pro League. So more recently, it's only a 7-4 over the NRH, which is a bit of a lower-end team. So Nora-Rengo yet to prove that they still have Cafe in the bag against the strong teams. But at the same time, I'd say the same thing against Talon. Like, they lost 5-7 against T9, as you said, and then 2-7 against Fav. So I know I'm still leaning towards Nora-Rengo a little here.
We still have a moment. Let's bring up our head-to-head here and explain exactly why we picked these two players. Gonna see him. There it is. Egg versus Simotuki. Guys, very, very briefly, why these two and what to expect?
Well, the interesting thing about these two players is they take on kind of similar roles, having a lot of that hard support. But, you know, Simotuki, brand new to Nora-Rengo, whereas Talon Esports, Egg has been around for a while on Talon Esports. He had to spend a bit of time building himself up. And now the question is, can he hold to that improvement that he made before?
Yeah, and Simotuki replaced Yuta on this roster, who was such a good support player for Nora-Rengo, and he's been struggling a little bit. He's been the bottom-rated player in the first two games, but the second top against Fnatic, so I'm hoping we can see something more from him today.
All right, Cafe Dostoevsky, it's game number 1, Talon versus Nora-Rengo. All our casters, Hap and Des. Enjoy.
Thank you, Gassan. And, well, I'm definitely ready for it. We're going to Cafe. We're going to be seeing a banger of a match, I'm pretty sure, Des. What can we expect on Cafe to come out here? Like, what kind of a band should we think of?
Well, bands you could be talking about all day long. Lots of possibilities to come out. In my mind, sometimes you're looking at things like the Habana. We spoke about it quite a lot on a couple of the maps yesterday. It comes down to the range destruction to open things up from safety, normally inside a piano, which is where most teams will choose to start off on their attack. One thing I really want to touch on, though, is the sort of thing the analysts were going over just a second ago, is the stakes in this game between these two sides. Talon are a team who are kind of on the up. We saw them have a brilliant game on Tuesday. Nora-Rengo are still kind of middling in the park, where they have this good level of gun skill, but sometimes it looks like the strats are a little bit lacking, and it all comes down to whether or not they can rush and find those kills in the dying moments of a round. So this clash between these two sides should be really interesting. I think Talon having to start an attack is going to maybe lead to things being a bit slower than intended. Many will remember how G2 played versus Na'Vi the other day and how slow those attacks look sometimes. But we'll see if it comes out to be the same between these two teams, different region, different stakes entirely. Banzo, I think you can probably have a good guess on what the second one's going to be here. Thatcher and Maverick, say it with me, it's always the same duo on attack when you see one of them banned away.
Yeah, if it's one, it's most likely going to be the other one. I think the one exception we had was yesterday on Club, where I believe the Maverick and Hibana were both banned. Or was it Phil? One of those two maps. So, bit of an exception there. But something else that seems to be popping up, especially in APAC and EU, is that the actual Heartbreachers are doing quite well. So, for the Heartbreach members on both Talon and Nora-Rengo, let's see how they can keep up, as Kaid now will be banned. Will be, of course, a logical ban. It's hard to deal with it. You have to expend your grenades if you really want to, for example, take Freezer. So I get the Kaid ban, especially with the Thatcher ban, and then Mira to finish it off. Quite logical as well. Echo, of course, still default ban, so like it allows you for a bit more flexibility in those ban phases.
Yeah, I'd say the first three bans you're seeing there are kind of the staple that we see in places like Europe at the moment, is that when you do see the Thatcher band away, Kai becomes so much more powerful because removing that gadget is almost impossible. Even more so when the Maverick is gone as well. You're then looking at things like a Twitch to get below with the drone, shoot it out from downstairs, but we know the kind of risk that that can bear with it, so not too surprised to see that following away. The Mirror, I thought we might see a Valkyrie coming out because with the need, with the Echo removed, the need to bring an IQ tends to disappear once the Valkyrie is gone as well, but obviously some teams despise playing against Mirror. She makes indefensible sites defensible and makes defensible sites fortresses to try and break into. So completely understand the choice. Round number one, going to be Bar and Cocktail on the first couple of picks coming out from the defenders, Mute and Mozzie. We spoke about this an awful lot over the last year or so since we've seen Mozzie in the game. It's all about that denial. It's all about saying, how can you act when you have no information? Speaking of it, there is a ton on the defensive side through the Maestro and the Valk. So take intel away from the other side, but give ourselves a ton. Smart strategy.
They actually six-picked out the Kali as well and brought that into a Blackbeard. Now, Kali, of course, basically the replacement for the Thatcher, especially with the bans like they are currently. Not decided to be taken yet. Might not be as necessary as it could be on any other side. As often, the only thing that really gets electrified is, of course, that piano wall and maybe onto that freezer, but both are... You can play around it, especially if this wall is soft. You can just take the control on white stairs, still get around it, or go from below, of course. Use one of the explosives to get rid of new gemmers or anything like that. So, as right now, it is going to be Nora-Rengo on their defense first. It seems like they're not playing into Piano too heavily. Didn't see a shield really being deployed up there either onto Pixel. So that means that Piano should be relatively safe for the likes of Talon to take. With the angles being created there, it's like not so much they have to worry about.
I mean, you can see the lineup coming out of Nora-Rengo here. We spoke about the intel piece, but the other crucial thing to note is there are indeed no shields, but there are 3 C4s. This just screams to me they're looking to play downstairs here and play off the information coming out of those cameras upstairs to try and get C4 kills from below once they do try and come from the pushing towards the site. So from Nora-Rengo, it's more about avoiding the gunfights with Talon altogether and just trying to force them into walking over these C4s and losing members earlier on. Because that way, as soon as you start losing the utility that you require to assault in towards the site to those C4s, it's going to be incredibly tough to be able to do much else. In my mind, that's what they're going to see the Mute and the Mozzie coming out for, is to try and protect those that are playing on their own game more. Maybe Shingo being all the way down at the bottom of red stairs here, not quite on their agenda. Needs to be careful they don't find themselves getting picked off by anything. But by the looks of it, he's considering a run out in case someone was trying to cause some trouble up towards the northwest. No one is there, so he'll be finding himself rotating further along this ground floor. Very close to tomorrow, mind you.
Tomorrow seems to have noticed, though, that Yoshingo is indeed close, as BD in the meantime will go down. PMW manages to, well, neutralize Mariu before BD gets finished off. Yoshingo is now being hunted right here by the F2 of Tomorrow. He soon will find himself into a gunfight as well. Seems to realize that indeed there's a peak to come in. Both these players are aware of one another. As Tomorrow will be rotating back, going up the white stairs. Could give an opportunity for Yoshingo to actually come on the flank right now. Beautiful flick there onto Soulboy. Actually, good response time from Tomorrow. As that should have been the kill in there and the draw up on numbers. But that didn't happen.
Ooh, Yoshingo up running into 2 up on near red stairs here as well. You can see the eggs nearby, just waiting and almost daring and to try and push it too aggressively. I think Yoshingo receiving the call that there was someone playing over on white stairs. It was Tomorrow, as you saw, getting that kill. He doesn't really want to be playing towards White Corridor anymore, but somehow he's managed to get behind them here. I hope to God there is a flank drone that knows what's going on right now, because the team are getting chewed apart. There's a drone there, but no, they don't know he's here. He comes up behind and finds a kill for himself. But how many more can he find? They know where the pings are coming out, but he's going to be able to convert them here. Surely he sees the one inside a Cocktail, swings across the gap, nothing more to be found, but now it's kind of an awkward reverse. C4 comes out, going to find one. No, he shan't, and gets shot down from on the new balcony. Nice shot from Tomorrow right there, and he's going to close that round out for them. A good round from Talon with some good pace after those initial 90 seconds of trying to clear out those roamers.
But this could have been ending up it could have ended so badly, especially with the flank to come in from the Valkyrie. That should have been maybe a double kill, triple kill to come in if he was just a tiny tad earlier on going for that route. But right now, it is going to be the first round to go in from Talon. Nora-Rengo. Yoshingo should have been going a bit earlier in that flank. That could have maybe changed things, saved things. But so far, Talon in the lead. See a relative similar operator lineup coming through. The Blackbeard still there. Nomad being brought by Labby.
Attackers need to locate
Just to slow down these flanks, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it was the roamers in that last round that kind of caused a bit of a headache, I think. Tomorrow spending quite a lot of time clearing out white stairs and then having to rotate all the way back across the map. Sorry, to get himself up white stairs, forcing Yushingo to rotate all the way back across the map, I should have said. It's just the fact that it took them a good 2 minutes to find that first kill. As you saw on the replay there, 1 minute and 3 seconds left in the round as he got that kill onto white stairs. So at that time, you've invested quite a lot of time and it becomes a bit of a rush for those that are on the upstairs who now can, they assume, push risk-free. Yushingo, of course, was still playing out and about and getting kills on the backside, and that's why you see the Nomad come through in this round. They want to make sure their flank is protected, and there is no opportunity for Yushingo to put out a play like that. Kind of curious as to why there weren't so many C4s being used by the side of Nora-Rengo there. I thought there'd be more vertical play on the go, but I guess the pressure of knowing there is an F2 Twitch running around downstairs was a little bit too great to stay on that roam for too long.
It was the F2 basically, well, the gun with the most recoil right now in many eyes right there, but if you manage to control it, it's still a beast to work with. Of course, these players know how to take care of that, especially tomorrow, as you saw there. Beautiful frags to come through as Yushingo right here is going to be prepping that window. Surely should be heard by these members of Talon as they are making their way up to the roof. Could be contested whatsoever by any of these from Nora-Rengo. As Yushingo again on the downstairs. Is it going to be hunted this time yet again by tomorrow, or is it going to be left alone? As the Blackbeard just holding off these long angles, not being able to find anybody as of yet.
Hasn't got to do too much yet, I don't think. It's just making sure it's safe to get inside. You've got the drones coming in from Egg and Labyrinth is checking out the downstairs in case there is that Valkyrie trying to cause some trouble once more. This time around, Yushingo is, as you can see, though, playing inside of white corridors. So the focus now more on a top floor defense than it is on their own game. That being said, Soulboy is playing downstairs, so there could be some intent to use this C4 a little bit later on. One thing I don't want to see is him getting picked off here, like we saw in the last round, trying to contest on towards the Twitch on white stairs. Maybe sometimes saying, you know what, we've wasted a good 90 seconds to 2 minutes here. That's enough. We keep ourselves alive now. Get back to site and make sure we're ready for this 5 versus 5 that might erupt on the top floor. Because just like last round, it's going to be tomorrow on the hunt. But PMW, once again, is going to find the opening kill in this round. That's 2 for him in 2 rounds.
Yeah, I lost one of his shields right there, so it shows the strength of Blackbeard still. You're able to get these gunfights going. You just have that small advantage over them. As tomorrow right now creeping up on the white stairs is going to be Mariu that will fall back into the actual side, giving tomorrow the freedom to actually open up on this barbed wire right here, as PMW will be picking up Yushingo that was actually playing near white, allowing tomorrow to even push up further right now, getting that kill onto Mariu as well. Nora-Rengo being shut down so far in these 2 rounds. It's only Simatuki and Soulboy left right now with 45 seconds on the clock. It slowly starts to count down. Wrong timer from Soulboy. It's going to be PMW with a kill. Goes over to the Deagle, but it's act to finish it off. It's a flawless round of Talon. That is definitely not on Nora-Rengo's agenda.
I can see Nora-Rengo have got the right idea. They're trying to play these roamers. They're trying to cause a bit of trouble and slow them down. But the thing is, tomorrow in both rounds has been the player walking around that first floor and the second floor looking to cause a bit of trouble. And in most cases, exerting enough pressure to force them back onto the site. And once they are on the site, it's a little bit haphazard, I'd say, in a way from Nora-Rengo. The way they're not really trying to play a static angle and just hold it where we're going to see the side of Talon pushing in, but instead opting to try and play, I guess, a bit more aggressive and try and actually contest them as they're even looking towards the third floor. It hasn't worked out for them so far, and I'm pleased to see they're going to try Kitchen to see how things can change up. Maybe here, if they are trying to play their own games and try and slow down Talon's attack, then they can waste enough time that when it comes to the site execute, much like G2 versus Na'Vi that we saw the other day, it comes down to a case of there being no drones, and it's more of a blind frag fest there for the attackers to try and close the round out.
Yeah, definitely Nora-Rengo so far. They try to hold on. They have the right idea, as you said, but it's just Talon being able to basically push themselves through. Use that Blackbeard to get 1 or 2 openings, and then tomorrow to push up these white stairs to basically, well, also pincer them a bit from the side, put them some pressure, harass them a bit, and after that, they're basically surrounded. Nothing Nora-Rengo could do at that moment in time. They really need to be more aggressive. They need to be active on that roam. They need to make sure that, for example, tomorrow is not able to get himself into these situations where all he needs to do is just keep on walking through, walking up the stairs, sneaking up on them, and then getting the drop onto one of them. Let's see if they can now they're in the kitchen. all the way downstairs. Spawn peek attempt.
Minded attempt. The thing is, though, I can guarantee you Talon have at least drone this out. You can see the drone from Egg a second ago, which may well have been on watch there from the spawn, just to make sure there was no funny business coming out. He's Soulboy on the dock. We all know what that APAC can do. We've seen some players, especially in Europe, making use of that to try and cause a bit of trouble in the early rounds. Plays that I've seen from Talon so far, though, it was the same site twice, but the way they attacked it both times was very, very clinical. It was clear the roamers, get upstairs, find kills, close round. Nothing more to say than that. And I think with having this Nomad on side, we saw it coming out in the second round. It's just about making sure once more that those flanks are extra safe, that there's no late round interruption for Nora-Rengo. Because imagine if in round number 1, Yushingo had got a flank off and killed 2 or 3, that could have completely put a spanner in the works and lost them the round.
All right. See one line of sight being opened up right here by the Hibana, allowing PMW to just look through it with that face shield. So right now, this wall's being opened up. There's no denial whatsoever. Which is kind of weird, knowing that there is no Thatcher, there's no Maverick. Why wouldn't you put a mute there, make sure they have trouble opening up? Yes, they would have to go above, but it still wastes a lot of time. I think that's a default issue right here in the setup from Nora-Rengo at this moment in time, because right now they do have an opening, and they do have a line of sight. Simutiki is completely stuck. He cannot go right and left, he cannot go right, because he will be taken down if he does so. And he's looking to stand up, put a little bit of a burst in, shield gets taken out, and is to at least find themselves on the next aisle. As Nora-Rengo is holding on right here. They haven't got a kill on their side yet. It's up to Soulboy to try and get them to that advantage themselves.
First smoke canister coming out. They did send one member upstairs. I imagine that'll be Egg on the sledge to try and cause some trouble from above. And I think, no, he's still downstairs. Nope, it's going to be BD and Labyrinth instead. Somewhat surprising though. I would have anticipated seeing a sledge go up, but for now they are keeping him on the downstairs. Really want the guns pointing in the right direction here. No frags left for him, so it is entirely down to the gunplay that he can do, as there won't be much to smash open here, given that that right-hand wall is indeed reinforced. But I think it's more just about making sure someone is present here with what they can do. Let's see if they can find a way in, because right now, for the last minute and a half, they found themselves pretty stalled outside whilst they try and get these vertical angles. It's going to be Soulboy getting the opening kill, though. This time onto PMW, who's had a wonderful game so far.
It's going to be BD to respond, but instantly Shingo as well to pick up one, making sure that the small bakery stays in control. No one is going to be peeking from there, though. There's still going to be a castle barricade located near that area. And as Ag now wants to move in, might be able to spot one of these players in the prone. And in the last 10 seconds on the clock, they need to start moving through. Yushingo will be picking up one or two tomorrow. It's going to be Simatuki to pick up another. It's only up to BD now, but there's barely any time left, and he will fall eventually. He manages to pick up one. There's Mariu to clean it up. And after that, Nora-Rengo will win that first round.
It was a much better round there, I think. They sat back and played a bit more patiently. They didn't feel the need to go too crazy on the roam. Like barely anyone was roaming there. Almost no one, I can tell you. Someone was playing out towards red, and that was about it. On the site itself, it was just holding those angles, because I think the attack from Talon was a little bit predictable. They got bakery open. There was no... The heavens weren't being opened above them. The sledge was still playing on the downstairs. A bit of a questionable choice when you do bring along that self-destruction. And it just meant that all we had to do was just see guns pointed in towards prep, in towards the breach, and nothing more had to come from it than that. Maybe a flank up red would have been a better plan coming out of Talon there, but they were a bit static for about 90 seconds in the mid part of that round, and that just saw the clock becoming their worst enemy, as we saw at the very end. Had to come down to a bit of an aggressive push, and ultimately they weren't the ones with control of the right angles. Still, after 3 rounds, it's Talon at 2-1. Not a bad outcome for them so far. We head towards the offsite now in Reading and Fireplace. We always say this is like attacking the top floor with extra frills. You take over the top area, you open up the floor, and then you look to do a push in from something like pillars. You can drop inside a utility if you want, or you can push inside Christmas door at the top side. So there are options, but just like inside a kitchen, my concern for Talon here is going to be time management. It's all about the vertical control as mentioned, though. Seems to be for Nora-Rengo now. Yep. They have got a couple playing on the upstairs. Looking towards Simatuki on the mute more than anything else as well. We saw this coming through in round number 1 with the mute and the Mozzie together. It was all about that intel denial. It's what they were trying to shut out. So here it's just about wasting time, saying, well, you can't really drone us. So are you confident in pushing us? Talon could look towards the east windows if they want. That's a great way to force people out. Some teams have, I guess, an occasion look to try and push their way in towards the actual site itself and blow the floor out from below. The problem is that we've seen teams ignore the top floor altogether, and I remember Pengu from G2 again against Na'Vi. It's a really good game to reference, I think, with how this one's playing out. is that they would still be holding the top floor with 2 or 3 members on the side of G2. And the big question then came down is, well, how do Na'Vi deal with that? And sometimes they would just ignore it entirely and say, look, you want to hold upstairs? You crack on.
Definitely true. As Talon here, of course, a bit more familiar ground compared to what they had last time around, because it's basically the same attack to go down to at least start things off. The only difference is that you still need to cut it down afterwards and use the verticals to assist yourself. So let's see if Talon will be able to deal with their time just a little bit better, as Nora-Rengo looking to stall. Mute is coming out this time to make sure that the walls will remain closed, unless it's going to be Talon to, well, take care of these gemmers from either, well, actually only above. We toss in a grenade from there. It's a C4. That's a good start. Is that on this Blackbeard gun? I was like, why is he getting killed by the hatch right there? But that's probably the utility coming through. Maybe a Valkyrie cam being located around this location. Wouldn't be surprised if it was a pre-placed.
Well, the mute thing we mentioned earlier on with how they set themselves up to be able to block these drones getting in down white, for example, or pushing in towards Cocktail. It's just about slowing down the attackers here and making it so they're having to push in blind, giving every advantage they can over towards the attacking side. For the most part, they have got good control, because I think that opening kill that came through onto PMW will have shut the attackers up a little bit. So now advantage over to the defenders. And that is, I think, the first C4 kill we've seen come out of them, right, as well. Despite playing a C4 heavy setup in a couple of rounds, this is the first one where they've actually managed to do something with it by playing on that roam that clearly Talon didn't put enough attention into mining downstairs. It was all too easy for PMW to go down to Soulboy. That's the second round in a row that PMW has gone down to Soulboy, by the way.
Grenade beam coming right there. Basically, it's going to be a post-mortem kill to come through. As he falls, he will get that kill. BD will also manage to pick up one of the kills. And that leaves it up in a 2-on-2 situation now. It's Simatuki and Soulboy left against Labby and BD. Labby already being close to sight. Soulboy is in that red hallway right there, just waiting for a peek of Labby to come through. And right now, you would expect that BD would be trying to, well, basically pincer him together. That doesn't seem to be happening. Soulboy again getting spotted out. Now is thinking about maybe going upstairs. As of course there is going to be a lot of verticality available there, but he's not going to be able to do that yet. And as the last 10 seconds tick down, they really need to start going for this actual side. BD managed to get one, and then Labby will be finishing it off. I thought it was going to be a Nora-Rengo round, looking at where Labby was located at. He was still at the white stairs at 15 seconds, but managed to just cut in quickly. Now Labby had to do after that was just, oh, get that kill there. Just wait and hold.
It's very curious. I think on the Valk side, it was a fear of maybe there was a plant trying to come through onto one of the sites and she wanted to come back and join. It was kind of a 10,000 IQ play coming out of Talon. Well played by them. 3-1 up after 4 rounds, even though that round looked like it was going against them. Again, it was Soulboy finding the opening kill onto PMW, who has been massive for them so far. So, I don't know, but for what I thought, maybe we'd see Nora-Rengo pulling things out here and Talon falling back into the slump we saw them in back in week number 1. This week, they've looked really good. The other day was a great game. Today, so far, is looking like a good game. And we always say base or judge a team on their attacks. There's a lot more to do on attack. It's a lot more around pace management, problem solving in the middle of rounds, rotating operators into the most efficient places that you can, preserving drones, things like that. So far, it's been a limited challenge coming out the side of Nora-Rengo, I feel.
Yeah, basically the kitchen was the hardest, really. But after that, it was just Talon winning their gunfights and being able to get into the advantageous positions to eventually set themselves up well for a round execute. And Nora-Rengo not really able to strike back from that. It happened 3 times now. Only once Nora-Rengo managed to win. So I'm kind of afraid for what is going on for Nora right here, because Nora really need to get these next 2 rounds in if they want to be competitive for the rest of this map. But we keep on kind of saying that, right? It's a defense-sided map. It's a defense-sided game overall. But even in APAC, we're seeing a lot of attack round wins to come through. It's actually more attack-sided here than it is in defense.
Yeah, in this region in general, we've seen more attacking rounds being picked up. A lot of teams do just seem to come at other teams like Thunder and roll them over on a good number of these attacks, because pace is always the name of the game. This one has definitely been a little bit slower. I remember watching Nora-Rengo back in their game, I believe, against Q Confirm it was on Oregon, where things there were of a similar sort of nature. Often the attacks would come down to an all-in kind of push in the final 60 seconds or so, or just clicking heads a little bit faster than Q Confirm could, and ultimately that's what ended up winning the game out for them. Here so far today, though, my worry is it's Talon who are the ones that are clicking heads. When it does switch halves, if they keep on playing this kind of aggressive game that pushes into Nora-Rengo and finds them unable to respond or to get set up properly, what happens then?
That is, of course, the question that we would like to see answered. And, well, we know Nora-Rengo as well have something available that they can just bring out whenever. Like, sometimes it just comes and goes, right? Like, they can certainly just live up. And then the game after, you're like, what happened with the Nora-Rengo we saw last week? So maybe when they go over to the attack, they're going to be able to bring that fire that they sometimes, and well, more often than not right now, can carry. I would really like to see that. I would really like to see these teams clash, especially in the second half, because right now it seems like Talon is completely in control and Nora-Rengo doesn't know how to respond whatsoever.
Yeah, and a lot of it just comes down to those first 2 rounds, right? We're only a few rounds in here. We could easily be sitting here and saying, well, it's not quite the end of the world yet. It only would have been 2 rounds. It's 1-on-1. We're yet to really see what's going to happen. Those first 2 rounds, in my mind, the one thing we kept on touching on was the fact they had a lot of C4s and there wasn't really any vertical play coming out. They had 1 or 2 members on the roam, but Talon were very, very good at droning them out and having Tomorrow go and hunt them down, essentially. In my notes, I literally put him down as the roamer hunter for the first couple of rounds because he was down there both rounds trying to cause a bit of trouble. My big concern was when Nora-Rengo fell back onto the site, it wasn't really into a coordinated setup. You had Jaeger kind of half pushing white, but kind of not. You had some trying to peek in towards Cigar and getting picked off. And it was just a bit, I don't know. It's not the kind of defense I think I'd have expected to see on a site like that. Maybe it's just the way they choose to play it is to be more aggressive. I'm not sure. But either way, it puts them down at 3-1. I get the call. We're going back in just a second as well, so we can see how the future rounds play out. But with only the kitchen site being the 1-1 so far by Nora-Rengo, if we go back down there again towards rounds number 6, for example, which is the last chance they'll have to play it, I think this could be trouble for them going into the second half.
It could definitely be, and talking a bit more about the roamers that fell back so quickly into an uncoordinated setup, I feel it would almost be better if Nora-Rengo would just stick on the downstairs, stick on trying to get that roam complete, waste as much time, and maybe take a gunfight on tomorrow. They would have been able, like, maybe even better than all going back to site after 90 seconds, because if you manage to win that gunfight, you still have that first floor control. They will have to come and hunt you, and you take more time out of their hands. And if you're all just going to be sitting on the same corner, same angle, you're easily being cleared out. So I think Nora needs to be a bit more aggressive on that roam that they bring and be a bit more confident in doing so.
They tried in round 1, right? They contested onto white stairs, and Yashingo was looking to kind of make it a 2 versus 1, but they just didn't quite get the peak off at the same time, and it was Tomorrow walking away with the kill. That being said, though, we are back onto this site we've just been speaking about for quite a while, so let's see what changes this time around. The defensive setup from Nora-Rengo is looking very different. Don't forget, previously we saw Mute and Mozzie coming out alongside the Maestro and the Valkyrie with the Jaeger thrown in at the end of it as well. So a bit of a different setup here where there is less focus on the intel or the intel denial, and definitely less focus around the C4s. Because instead what you're seeing being brought out is 3 sets of barbs. You've got the bulletproof cam coming out of the castle and a shield coming out of Yashingo. So maybe it was a failed strat in the first couple of rounds that didn't go the way they wanted, but now we're slinking back in towards playing a more standard setup, I think. In fact, it's a very heavy cigar hold, 2 ADSs in there, a shield in there, castle barricade down as well. It's all about saying we do not want to give this over to you. The one thing that I fear is missing is a mute, because the C4 here can be so good at denying the attackers from finding out what the hell is going on and being able to figure out a plan of action.
Especially if you know the Talon just basically puts up their heart breach time and time again and not really have anything to do with it. They didn't have to deal with it yet. So I think a mute like the Jammers would also make sure there's no extra angles being opened up here for especially PNW to use with that Blackbeard. As you see, beautiful angle to be created through the little desk encounter right there. It's actually pretty innovative.
I mean, Soulboy. 3rd round in a row, he's found the opening kill now, so he's picking off Talon pretty well. It took a couple of rounds, but he's warmed into it for sure. And that's the Habana gone as well. That ranged hard destruction to open up things like the freezer wall. It's quite simply not going to be available anymore.
Well, it's going to be the instant response, though. Tomorrow, moving up, taking that cigar control. There's a lot of utility pointed at cigar right here, so it's kind of important, I guess, that they want to keep it. But if it's just Tomorrow that walks in, manages to get that kill, and completely messes up the entire plan, that's troublesome from the likes of Nora-Rengo. Of course, Soulboy dropped. He's going to be trying to attempt to go for a bit of a flank. There's no Nomad on the board this time on the likes of Talon, so a flank drone must be present if they want to be able to catch him off, because otherwise we might see what we beforehand did not see from Shingo to go through. And this Papillion now gets the response. It's 3-3, but still a roamer on the board that could potentially wreak havoc.
That's keeping their eye towards Cigar here as well, so all guns focusing in a naughty bullet hole. Naughty, naughty, naughty. They are disgusting. Egg almost going down there, actually, by the looks of it. He's down to about 1 HP, so wants to try and avoid bullets now in the rest of this round, if at all possible, to keep himself at the very least in the game. I imagine he's out of frags by now, but does still have a drone he can do a little bit of work with. Things have kind of... Okay, got one left, fair enough. Things have slowed down at least slightly now as well as we get towards this final 45 seconds of the round, and I think Nora-Rengo have done much better on this defense than previous. They are holding these longer angles. They are playing for the kills. Once we see the side of Talon starting to push in, they are feeling the need to contest or go too aggressive. Looking a lot better for them, and they might be able to close this one out.
Indeed, they might be able to close it out. The Soulboys trying to challenge Egg right there onto the white stairs. An opening now has been created. Egg will be finding himself near the freezer, but someone is in there. He needs to deal with this player, Simatuki, first if he wants to be able to get this plan down. Instead, he just tries to go for it. Maybe a little bit of a bait, I'm not sure. But it doesn't look like they're aware of the fact that someone is in that freezer. It's going to be PMW to pick up one onto Soulboy, Simatuki then to respond to Egg. But it still looks like Talon might be having this one in their hands. If they manage to find Papilia quickly, now they need to, but it's a double kill for Papilia to finish it off. As the stars aligned right there. They might have just wanted to go for the plant right there with the Zofia, and I'm waiting for someone to cover. Because this was kind of, well, I mean, they wanted to go for the frags, I kind of get it, but you should really rely on your teammate to be able to cover you if you go for that plant.
It is definitely a risk leaving it down to a 1 versus 1 and probably favoured themselves more in a 2 versus 1 where they can play for the trade. The problem is, you lined up, as you said, it's the stars align. Collateral comes through, and with that Alda, well, you do not miss is the best way I can describe it. We are going to head back down to kitchen now. We saw this go well for Nora-Rengo earlier on. This was mainly down to Talon taking quite a long time on the attack, mind you. They seemed a little bit split on what it is they should be doing. So rather than pushing in just through something like Bakery this time around, want to see them get upstairs, open up the floor. You're bringing a sledge for a reason and start forcing these defenders towards the backside of these sites. That should make things at least a little bit easier for Talon.
Definitely should. Bringing that soft breach from above. It's Nora-Rengo looking to find yet another round. They're going back here into that kitchen. Yet again, no mute to come through. And, like, why would they not bring the mute, Des? Like, is there anything that stands out to you that shouts, this is why we don't bring a mute, unlike the playstyle Nora-Rengo right now?
Well, I think in their mind, it's saying, you know, they're still managing to work around us just fine, even when we do have the mute and multi, like we saw back in rounds 1 and 2. So I think it's just kind of the acceptance of, well, we know we can do a bit of slowdown, but clearly it's still not scaring Talon off doing what it is that they want to do. So we would rather play instead around the different bits of utility that we're bringing here. Once again, 2 sets of Barber, C4 on the side of Meryu. I like to see at least 1 C4 on this side for when a sledge does start playing above. And everything else I think is just, it's all useful. Simatuki on the smoke until late round. Doc to be contesting the longer angles from back inside of service. The only one I'm not 100% certain on here is the Legion. Part of that could just be to kind of get the notifications or to hold down a certain area of the map. I'm not entirely sure.
Like, if I would choose one operator to swap out here, it might sound crazy. Other people might say Doc due to the fact that, of course, it's an acre for long angles. But you have long angles here, so it's really useful to play. I'm not sure about the Legion either. I would rather have a Bandit there with a C4 and mute with a C4 to use for a vertical and make sure that you keep these walls closed. As that will be slowing down Talon a lot more because, well, Nora-Rengo has been struggling with slowing Talon down properly. That's how 3 of the rounds went to their side. The last one could have just as well went to that side as well if it wasn't for that double kill at the end of Papilia to come through. As they aligned due to not having the right information on the hands of Talon. But hey, Nora-Rengo managed to win it last time around, so I assume that they are feeling confident in their current setup. As Nora-Rengo is probably spotting out on tomorrow as he jumps through that window, deciding to go for a different approach.
Yeah, it's another slow round where they're still trying to find the ideal setup here. I think they have 1 playing upstairs right now. Papilia is still doing his work, holding down around the main restaurant area. I saw him put up a couple of goo mines down earlier as well in this area, so I think it's just locking it down and trying to almost shoehorn the attackers in towards going to Bakery once more and saying, please go and focus on that area, because it worked so well for us last time. But this time round, Egg is not making the same mistake as previous. That sledge is upstairs and doing work. Again, the whole focus of this is to open up these vertical angles so you can either catch defenders as they start rotating, or force them to play outside of power positions that they would normally want to hold.
Right now, 1 minute left and basically no control yet from the likes of Talon. Maybe a bit above to open up these verticals, as you see some of those floorboards on the board, but they don't really have an opening yet into the actual site, and they really need to create that soon. Luckily for them, there's not going to be any denial to make sure they won't be. And, well, that kind of could have shown how effective it would be if they had it available to them. The opening has been made, so Matuki will be taken down straight away by tomorrow. That's going to be starting things off. It's a smoke gone. Red Stairs control is also now in favor of Talon, but we still have this one member right here, Shingo, in this position, will be taken down in prep room. Not prep room. Never mind. Anyway, Papilia now coming in. Yeah, there we go. Papilia coming in from the flank will be able to pick up one, but instantly returned them by Egg. And as the 13-second mark is coming in now, they need to go for a plan. There's only Maryu left. Just waiting for them to push through. Managed to get it down to Egg. That's a huge one that could potentially end this round. They need to go for the diffuser now as the pinks to come through. But it's the last second kill, a Labyrinth to come in. It's Maryu to fall. And with that, Talon will be having that 1 round or 2 round advantage right here going into that second half.
I know it worked for Talon there, but that was such a risky play coming out of Labyrinth. When you've got a player down, someone else is forced to go for the plant. You are essentially in a 1 versus 1. The planter cannot help you. If you lose that 1 versus 1, it's a simple job for the defender to sprint out and try and kill that planter before it sticks and goes down. So I would much prefer to, in Labyrinth, potentially just hold the angle there, wait to see if a push did come out of Freezer, and then get the kill. I don't know, maybe it's a pink thing, maybe he wanted to play for the advantage in that case, I'm not entirely sure, but to me it was a really big risk when he could have just waited and played a little more safely. However, round advantage to Talon, 4-2 on the attacking half. Nora-Rengo have got a small hill to climb here in the second half of things. However, this could be one of those games that just leans towards the attacking side, and we'll judge Nora-Rengo based on the prowess of their attacking half, see how hard they come at Talon here, and equally how well Talon can defend.
And this is what I like, right? Talon instantly bringing in that mute to change things up, make sure that it's not going to be as easy to open up for Nora-Rengo as they had it themselves. Because I'm pretty certain that if they would have had a mute instead of a Legion there, that round could have been won by Nora-Rengo, as that just would have slowed them down, didn't actually allow them to get into sight like they did. But well, it's a different kind of setup from Talon in its whole. We see the Meister to come out. There's of course some extra information, also denial together with BD on those smokes. Then a double, well, basically throwable catch simulation game with both the Jaeger and the Wamai being up. That's 11 throwables that they can take out altogether. And then there's also going to be that 1 shield, or 2 shields actually, and those 2 Evil Eyes you want to be dealing with. So in total you would need 15 throwables, with which 4 explosives to deal with all of the utility that Talon brings. So, Nora-Rengo, how much do they have, Des?
How much do they have? I mean, there's enough throwables there, I'd wager, to deal with what's being set up. I'm curious if at some point we start seeing more things like with my bands coming through in the region to deal with that sort of thing, as you just mentioned, because there is a lot of utility here to deal with. And the big question is where are those frags going to land, right? It's the whole reason why you have all the flashes is to burn out the ADSs, to burn out the magnets, whatever else it comes down to. To start up on the top floor here from Talon naturally as well. I like how teams do enjoy clearing out top floor and saying this is our focus, make sure no one's behind us. Totally get it. The biggest fear you have is how much time you then lose. But Maryu's in pretty early and is the one trying to push downstairs. Maybe to see someone droning him in here would be a good idea to make sure things are clear in double time.
Already Simituki close on a position. Gets a little bit of a spot down, but they're already long gone. Also downstairs, actually, so not of real concern. But right now, I believe Maryu is... Tomorrow's being skipped right there, who was just holding off. Yeah, he's already gone as well. So the flank is gone. There's no more flank potential in the likes of Talon. They're all downstairs on the bottom floor now, as they will be waiting for Nora-Rengo to approve and approach their attack. Hatches is being opened up. That kind of gives something away about what they're planning to do, as it's going to be their only heart breach. Simituki now will be taking down Egg. That's the mute gone. We'll be making things just tit-tat easier onto, no C4, for example. He had a shield anyway to deal with. As Maryu now comes in. The missing his shots onto BMW. Instantly traded out. Tomorrow played it on contact. Beautifully done. Even though BMW is low, they still managed to pick up the Ash right there. It's 2 breaching rounds no longer there to deal with these shields or Evil Eyes.
We've seen this kind of thing coming out of Nora-Rengo before, where they just slow things down far too much, and it always comes back to bite them in the late round. It's a good minute and a half to even start getting the floor open inside of Train. However, Pilia, nice flash, comes out and will pop off Tomorrow, who is playing for this extended hold out towards the main entrance. So Nora-Rengo are in control here right now. It's almost like these two roamers on the other Egg and Tomorrow, who are trying to play up towards the north side of the ground floor, are getting themselves picked off, and it gives a small advantage over. But you still have 3 site players here. One no doubt sat behind a shield, one is the smoke, one is going to be Labyrinth on the Maestro. This is a 4 versus 2, mind you. 10 seconds to go, and it all comes down to the clock.
It definitely all comes down to the clock. Papilia now will be picking up yet another kill. It's only Yashingo left. He's going to get zapped up just a small bit here by the Evil Eye. I believe the Evil Eye might have been taken down, but right now it's the Maestro to come in from the flank. Gets a 1 kill, gets a triple kill. And look at Yashingo, how low he is. Just a single bullet or a zap from a Maestro camp could be enough to take him down. And there we go. That's these injured to come through.
Oh my god.
The shield. It's just a 1-on-1. It's Soulboy against Labby. Labby knows where he is, but he is going to be taken down by Soulboy. That could have ended really badly right here for Nora-Rengo. The way it did, he knew exactly where this sledge was, but just a pre-fire from Soulboy right there, securing that kill and securing that round for Nora-Rengo.
It's almost such a big brain play, and I think the problem's kind of exacerbated there by what you saw at the very end, right? Is that they're going in for an execute onto site, and the Evil Eye is still there. It hasn't been destroyed, it hasn't been dealt with, it is still in play, it is feeding information, it is helping in that 1 versus 4. And these are the small things that I worry about when teams take too long to get into the site and start clearing things out. Sure, you might be able to go in, you might be able to get the plant down, but a lot of that utility can only come back to help the defenders a lot when it does come down to these post-plant situations. Unless, of course, it's something like a shield, in which case you can assume control of it yourself once you're in the post-plant. Fair enough. However, it is a round to the side of Nora-Rengo. It means we have a game on our hands here, ladies and gents, where it's not going to be Talon running away with it on the defensive half, as we may have feared. We go towards Reading and Fireplace for site number 2. See how Talon fare on this defense.
And now you're wondering how different would this round have been if he would have just gone back onto his scanner a bit earlier, get that, that zap in. That was going to be enough to actually stop the plant, because he literally needed 1 more zap to get that down. Not sure how close the sledge was at that moment in time. When the timer ran out eventually, plant still came through.
10 seconds remaining.
But right now, Nora managing to pick up the first attack round instantly. And we are not going back to the same site straight away. No, Talon will be adapting just a small bit. They will be going up to that reading room. This side, according to many, the most defensible of the bunch. And that is, of course, due to the fact that you basically play the same as upstairs. First, they need to clear that out. After they do that, there's about 1 minute to 1 minute 30 left to go for your eventual execute. And if you don't have that top floor control, you're going to be wasted from the verticals. But if you do, probably the defender's already long gone, and they managed to rotate out in these safe spaces where they can still try and challenge an eventual attack to come through.
The pulse here as well is one of the big things that might weigh into this for the vertical play. That just screams to me that they are assuming there is going to be control of Cocktail coming through. It is the go-to attack for teams. We mention this all the time on this site. Just take control of Bar and Cocktail, tend to get yourself inside a Cocktail, open that floor up, and then try and find a plant through the single doorway to the north of Reading. And that, I think, is going to be the game plan here coming out of Nora-Rengo. Talon, mind you, it's always a question of how much time you can waste on the top floor without losing your life. You want to be able to be up here to drain that time reserve down, give yourself that 6th man advantage by seeing, similar to last round, the attackers having to rush in and try and do it all with only a few seconds left on the clock. It requires flawless execution in those kind of situations. And for now, no one has died. I worry about Egg being up here entirely by himself on the castle, mind you. It's hardly a Maestro with a long-range gun. We'll see what he can pick off with this UMP. Good to get on the bench, by the way, or on the desk. He's actually going to be able to avoid this Habana hole, being able to reveal his location.
Just maybe wish that he would have got himself rid of the plants before, and the actual plant's not the planter in that case. It's Soulboy will get the first kill onto Egg. Using the shotgun right here, Labby to push himself back downstairs. C4 being tossed through. That's actually going to be not hitting, just barely stuck down. Unfortunately, otherwise that would have been the perfect one onto Soulboy. That should have been the kill, but not quite able to get it through properly. That leaves us still in the man disadvantage right here for Talon. As Labby keeps on trying to challenge right here, but he needs to be careful as BMW and BD. Of course, they're trying to play in contact right here to try and hold those white stairs, but how well will they be able to do it? As BMW already rotated down. He's on that Maestro. He's in a key position. If he stays alive, he's going to be able to use his 2 Evil Eyes to make sure that the plant doesn't go down eventually, just like he tried to do the last time around. And as a result, he will be putting himself into a position where he can go for a flank, but also where he's safe for just long enough to make sure that the plant doesn't go down. And as the last 20 seconds now are going to be coming in, it is going to be the execute of Nora-Rengo that might be feeling a bit rushed. This BD's down here below as well. It's going to be pushed though. Uses that shotgun just in time to get Papillia. Nora-Rengo manages to respond to Tomorrow, but it's Talon that seems to be falling right now. The plant's going down in the meantime. Is BMW on his camps? Doesn't seem to be the case. As Yashingo will go down, BMW will be taken down from the flank, and the shotgun doesn't do much damage on that range, BD. There's no way that you're going to be able to win that gunfight, and well, as he swaps back to his scanner, he will get some information, but I think this is long done, isn't it, Des?
There's a lot to do in a 1 versus 3 with 30 seconds to go. Yeah, it gives you about 20 seconds to be able to get all 3 kills here and stick the defuse. And with the vertical play, in effect, it's exactly what Nora-Rengo has spent most of this round doing. It is so hard to contest. Doesn't have a C4. Going to try and play for the shotgun here. Sharp find the shots through the ground to connect in about 7 seconds to find 3 kills. It's simply not going to happen. It's pretty apparent this round is going the way of Nora-Rengo's. But I feel bad for Talon almost here because they do a lot of things right. They are in a spot to be able to contest vertically from below. Missed the C4. Admittedly, that's kind of Nora-Rengo playing the game with the floor as lava and refusing to stand on any soft flooring, so fair play. One thing I want to shout out in that round, though, is Simatuki especially, because he was just sat there on flank watch the whole round, making sure that there was no late round aggressive burst coming out of Talon. We see a lot of teams do this when they kind of get put into a corner. Is the best thing you can do sometimes is just run at the other team. If you know you're not going to be able to make an impact otherwise, just run at them and see what damage you can do. But the patience and the kind of composure being shown despite us running down to about 15 seconds remaining was admirable from Simatuki, which meant that Soulboy could keep on doing his job upstairs. And to give a shout out to Simatuki as well, he's 4-1 for opening kills so far this game. He's been doing fantastic outside of those first couple of rounds, which saw PMW taking them, and round 6 and 7 going exclusively over to Tomorrow in his opening kills. So it's good to see that he's pulling the team back in that regard and making sure that at least in the early round, they do have the numbers advantage.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bomb.
All right. 4-4 right now. Nora-Rengo managed to draw it back up after we said I said mainly that they could be a bit disadvantaged due to being in that 4-2 state. However, we are being proved again that APAC seems to be attack-sided throughout all the teams. So, as Nora-Rengo right now is putting up their first 2 attack sides on the board, it is Talon to go all the way up for the last side that they want to attempt to try and get that win on, as the previous 2 have failed. And they only need 2 rounds to secure themselves at least to go to overtime, as there is of course no draws, there is no 1-pointers to be won. It's all wins or it's all losses.
Attackers are heading out.
So Talon need to at least have that overtime and put that pressure down on Nora-Rengo, telling them you cannot afford a single mistake anymore, we will be taking the full 3. The question is how quick will they be able to take it, if they're going to be able to take it.
Yeah, here in APAC, there are no everybody's a winner games. As Hap said, it's all wins or losses. Going for a cigar hold here, similar to what we saw coming out of Nora-Rengo on their defense. I'm not sure if there are any ADSs popped down inside there, mind you. I think the intent instead is just to play behind the shield and then sit in here in front of the castle barricade and just waste as much time as possible. A very fair tactic, as Nora-Rengo looked shakiest on the kitchen back in the first round of their defense in round number 7, of their attack, in round number 7, when they were very short of time, had to run straight into an Evil Eye camera, and it was almost a 1 versus 4 being run by Labyrinth, So I like the game plan. My biggest worry so far is that Nora-Rengo are the ones that are hitting the shots. And I've always said, it doesn't matter how good you are at this game in terms of strats. It doesn't matter if you've got the perfect strategy in mind. If you do not hit your shots, you are going to lose rounds.
All right. Nora-Rengo seem to know what they want to do. They seem to have their attack plan ready. So it looks like they want to take control of Cigar and Piano at the same time. People located around the hedges right here. It's going to be the ADS wasted. Next flashbang to come in. That smoke canister will make sure that the push is not happening instantly. But BD, you got to make sure to not go too aggressive here. He's thinking about it. As the S-charge comes in, we'll take out his shield. It's his cover gone. Tomorrow, in the meantime, we'll be able to pick up a double kill. That's a huge one. Soulboy and Papillia gone. BD will be taken out by Simatuki. And that is right now, however, the response of Nora-Rengo as they take control of Cigar, which is quite huge for this bomb site. All they need to do right now is there's no one in freezers. Just get right behind this little table right here and go for that plant, as no one is there to actually counter you off. And as Mariu is trying to run in right here, you might be able to find up 1 or 2 more players. He gets taken down by the Alba. It's a double kill to come through. It's a complete massacre to go in. It's Simatuki to at least respond. He gets a triple kill of himself. He needs to keep on trying to get more right here. It's BMW and Tomorrow left. This is a winnable round for Talon. There's the pre-fires to come in left and right, but Simatuki not able to find any of these Talon players as of yet. They're being patient, and as they're right now trying to cut across, he's checking the wrong angle of this bar doorway right here. Simatuki will be able to find one. That's a quad kill. Knows where the last player is. It's only up to Tomorrow right now. He cuts across. The game sense on this man is so good. And he goes for the pre-fire and he gets it. It's the ace of Simatuki. They will be pulling Nora-Rengo through and put them in the lead. But he was perfectly reading the situation here. Spawning out that barrel, going for that pre-fire. And he's happy.
Oh, man, the guy was basically locked in storage entirely by himself. And the worst thing is, Talon had the right idea. Watch the doorways, because at some point he needs to come out if he wants to go for a plant, recover the diffuser to try and kill us, whatever it might be. But the thing is, it's Simatuki gets aggressive and swings out towards the left, takes the 1v1, wins the next one straight after, and forces it to be this awkward 1v1. Man, that was rough, and probably another case again, I would say, of where it was maybe the defenders trying to be a little too keen there in terms of how they were moving. Again, why not hold an angle and force him to come out? There was kind of a change of plan once it went into that 1v1, trying to play aggressive, and all it took was for Simatuki to be holding the correct angle, and it was as simple as that. What an incredible round from him. That may have just completely swung the momentum in Nora's favor now, because that is 3 rounds back-to-back. Talon, across any of the 3 sites, have not won a defense. And I keep on saying it. I said it at the very start. Nora-Rengo just have a way where even where it looks like a team is better on the defense. It was the same against Q-Confirm and Oregon when they've got really good setups on defense. When it looks like they're sat in the right positions, like it should all go their way. Somehow, Nora-Rengo consistently keep on finding these key kills and keep on swinging rounds back in their favor. It's unbelievable, but it makes it so hard to write them off in any of their games this season.
It's that fire that we talked about before that is now coming to life in this attack side of the map. Especially Simatuki here. Basically, if they weren't able to snowball yet, Nora-Rengo after winning 2, they definitely should be able to now, because that completely shatters the hearts of Talon. It cannot be anything else than that. Like, you were in a 3-on-1 situation, the guy just clutches it like that with an ace to be even, make matters even worse in that case. So, Talon, you need to get yourself together right now. You need to make sure that Nora-Rengo is not getting that freedom that you just gave them, to allow them to make these kinds of plays. And as you said, they need to get that control of Cigar, and they did it. From there on, it was just completely shredding everybody apart. As Talon right now, wasting some drones as BMW to get not a single shot into Maryu. Smart placement right here from going prone, but it's being read. Maryu knew exactly what was going on.
So aggressive as well. Even with the drone being killed, with it being a vigil, they decide, you know what, forget drones, just rush the damn guy and kill him. And I was going to say, before they even got that kind of segment of play played out, I was like, okay, they're going for a more roam-based style here. They're bringing the vigil on. They're trying to cause trouble along with Tomorrow. However, they've lost both of those roamers inside about 60 seconds here. This is a terrible outcome on the roam, because now you've given Nora-Rengo 2 minutes, and all they've got to worry about is site players. I say site players. You've even got Egg trying to play aggressive, and he gets picked up as well. They can't play on site because they get tore apart. They can't play on the roam because they get singled off and isolated by Nora-Rengo and picked off. What can Talon do on the defense here to bring this one back? Because right now, it's looking almost impossible. 90 seconds to go, but it's a 4 versus 2.
Yeah, 90 seconds is a lot of time right here for Nora-Rengo to play with, and this will feel like an eternity for the likes of Talon. They know how slow that clock will be ticking, especially when you're in a disadvantage. As Maryu will be getting some extra information in, they soon should be able to find out that indeed Bakery is clear, but that Labyrinth is playing right around the corner, just waiting for someone to go and overstep his boundaries. But he is going to get spotted out, be forced to move back into kitchen. Is right now going to be Hibana that will be opening up that wall right there in prep. Will be creating that long angle, making sure Labby's not going to be able to play there any longer. This is actually the mute jammer just blocking off half the X-Carrols there. That's funny.
The change on a switch. They've cleared everything out upstairs right now, so their focus is to get themselves out towards Bakery and leave the sledge upstairs doing a few renovation works inside the house. Or inside cafe, I guess in this case. It's not really much of a house, is it? Either way, they know where the push is going to be coming from here, I'd expect. They know what it is they've got to deal with, and it's all about the sledge creating a bit of pressure from above and forcing them to play in these corners as you're seeing now. Clearly, They've got the time to play with. The drones are in. They must know surely where both of these defenders are now playing. They know what's safe and what they can do. If Nora-Rengo give this one away after being in a 4 versus 2 with about 1 minute and 45 still left in the game, that is going to be catastrophic.
Well, they dropped the diffuser to start things off. It's Labby with 1 and Soulboy to go quite low now as well. They need to get the push on. It's a shotgun to come in. It's only BD left. He will be able to get one. He's it just in time. Talon managed to bring it back, but it surely should have been a Nora-Rengo round. You saw the pre-fires heading into him as well, but somehow he dodged them like the Matrix movies right there. And it's going to be a 5-5, and we have ourselves a true series going on right here as Nora-Rengo wins a round they weren't supposed to win. Now Talon do the same. And it's a one-on-one trade as we go. And back to Bar Cocktail. The first defensive round is in from Talon. Are they going to be able to follow that up?
Unbelievable, these last 2 rounds. It just goes to show a round is never over until it is absolutely... Until it's done, until that timer hits 0, until every man is dead. You just cannot count a round between these 2 teams as being over and done until it reaches that exact moment. Unbelievable how back and forth it has been. Nora-Rengo with that kind of 3-round flurry looked to be swinging things back their way pretty decisively, but now we're sat at 5-5, and I don't know about you, Hap. I'm feeling overtime here between these 2 sides because, again, it is just so difficult to call which way the rounds are going to go.
It's definitely looking like an overtime will be coming through right here. As, well... Talon need to find one more defensive round first. It's something they have been struggling with. Let's just say that last round, that should not have gone their way. So if it doesn't hurt Nora-Rengo too much, they lose one. It should be a Nora-Rengo match. But if Talon are able to, on the back of that round, bring back their confidence and bring back the fire that they have, they should be able to at least get a draw out of this one, and then push it over to overtime, and maybe take it there.
Whew. All right, let's reset. Base ourselves up for what no doubt is going to be another crazy round. We're going to see a castle barricade once more set up on Cigar Shop, so not playing someone inside of it this time round. If you remember, it was the Vigil they were playing up here previously, trying to be a bit aggressive inside a Cigar. That wasn't their defending kitchen, mind you, whereas this round I think it's more just to waste time and make it so it's a little bit more difficult to set up the longer angles down and towards Piano and make it so free to go for. It will bait out a bit of utility coming from either the Ash or the Zofia. No one really wants to get too close to that one to break it open with something like the Sledge. So drone work going to have to be required to make sure this is at least clear to push in from. Looking at over on the defensive side, mind you, only the one shield on side. And that's probably why they've opted not to defend inside a Cigar Shop, because they would much rather see that shield playing on the pixel angle rather than inside a Cigar itself.
There we go, 2 of the magnets being wasted now. One of the ADSs also being gone. Still someone playing down here. Not sure if there's any other, well, utility here. But no, it is not. It's the impact to come through. Shield now being taken out and PMW instantly to fall back. And according, well... Oh, actually, there's still an ADS there, but it wasn't placed properly to actually catch up that impact grenade from the most northern window of Piano. It's interesting. Because now the last one is going to be wasted. So, didn't do his job, but... At least they managed to get the shield off, so Pixel is going to be a bit safer to play. Especially if right here, Mariu is about to pick up PMW. He just managed to survive somehow. That should have been a kill to come in. It should have been his first kill to come in.
It's basically turning into 4 or 5 versus 1 inside of Piano here. Just trying to catch out PMW, but not able to do so. They have now finally got control of top of Red Stairs, but... without control coming in too many other areas right now, they're still all outside the building, just about getting inside. They've spent 2 minutes waging this war over Piano. It's becoming a recurring theme for Nora-Rengo that time management isn't one of their strong suits. Still, they always manage to make it work somehow in the dying 60 seconds. It just means the end to the rounds can be a little bit chaotic at times.
It definitely will be. Is a Evil Eye right there, just taking up the feet of Yoshingo just a little bit. It's going to be the bathroom to be opened up, making sure that they're not going to be able to play from there anymore. Just a small ankle holes to go through, but allowing Mario to just move through. Most likely, no, he's actually not being able to move through. It's being placed a bit too high, meaning he needs to go from the white stairs right now. But Ag was there, well, was there, as he gets taken out swiftly by Mario. Right now, Nora-Rengo have 20 seconds left. They need to make a move. And it's Nora-Rengo, it's Mario with a double kill and a team kill, actually, to come through. He's going to be coming back to haunt them quite badly. PMW. Coming in clutch, able to pick up one. Tomorrow, blasted back by the airjet. No one is on site. They are coming from the back. But it's not going to be lasting. It's Nora-Rengo to pick up these 2 kills. The last 2 roamers quite effectively, as they had no impact whatsoever meaning that Nora-Rengo will now be on 6. They will have 1 match point to try and close it out here.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Again, I really feel for Talon because the right idea is there, but Nora-Rengo, dare I just say, are just better. Like the gunshots they're hitting, everything they're doing in the actual execution itself just nets a better result for them. And it's a real crying shame because you're seeing a lot of promise on Talon, right? We've seen PMW and Tomorrow have a wonderful game so far. Just comes down to Nora-Rengo having some capability towards the end of the rounds that slowly begin to swing things more and more their way. 6 and 5, it could turn into going to overtime here. Although I just feel that one last round on Kitchen and Service was really the only time we've seen Talon with any kind of fight, and that was a 2 versus 4 clutch to kick it off anyway. So that was maybe more down to a misplay coming out of Nora-Rengo, running straight into the sightline of one of the only remaining 2 defenders to see the diffuser go down and force an awkward situation. Here on Reading and Fireplace, there shouldn't be too much work for Nora-Rengo to do unless somehow Talon can waste another 2 minutes by keeping Nora-Rengo inside a piano, inside of Cigar Shop, and not enabling them to actually move towards the site. But the big question is, how much time do Nora-Rengo really need? The answer so far has been, well, not a lot.
Definitely not. Talon basically won that 1 round due to misplays from Nora-Rengo, and all the rest of the defense not really being able to get some stuff done. As they're going back to Reading Room now, they haven't been here ever since round number 8, if I recall correctly. Back then, BD still playing with that pulse and a shotgun, able to pick up 1 kill, but after that he was left alone, and he tried to take these long-range gunfights with that shotgun. Not really the place to be. You either want the Sniper 90 for that back in the old days, or take the M59. I think that would have been a better shot opportunity to win these, but of course no access to those on that pulse. As we are 5-6, Des, I think that we might be seeing a Nora win here, unless Talon brings something that we haven't seen before.
I mean, Mute and Mozzie coming out of these guys is different. We've seen them bring the Mute quite a lot, but never the 2 as a combo. We saw it coming out of Nora-Rengo back in the first half, so I'd love to be able to turn around and say, yeah, they clearly just want to stop Nora-Rengo droning them out and killing them, but drones haven't really been a big requirement so far for Nora-Rengo, it feels like. Not they haven't done any droning, but it definitely hasn't been a big component of it. I love this in the ground, by the way. I saw him setting it up, and I was like, rather than putting it just flat on the ground in front of that double doorway, what you can do is nest it in the ground, so when someone tries to drive or jump over it, damn, it's taken for free, and no one can shoot it from range. So really nice setup.
Yeah, I really like that as well, and it's a bit more safe from explosives as well, of course, as it doesn't directly get the shrapnel in there. So you really need to be worrying about how to deal with that pest. Basically, given Egg and Labyrinth a free place to stay, they're not going to be able to get any information on that anytime soon, as Nora-Rengo are struggling to get their drones past. Of course, you can still jump from to the balcony, as there is, of course, that little open corner, so you might be able to get a drone in from that. However, they didn't seem to be trying that as of yet. As Soul Boy already in the freezer, throwing in some grenades, rotating back out. Just some angles being watched right here by Nora-Rengo. But yet again, there's only 1 minute left and they don't have this complete top floor control yet. So this might actually come in favor of Talon. But as they're trying to move through right here, it's going to be PMW from the
big
double C4 kill to come in. Big kill to come in indeed. Yoshingo to respond. PMW still on the flank. It's BD and Labby back alive on the side. If they manage to find these 2, it could be a round to come in from actual Nora-Rengo. But otherwise, Talon should be able to get this one home. As right now they have to drop, they have to go for it. It's not completely open up. Papilia going for his reload. They need to move through. The XCAR is being used, but someone in the meantime rotated up above. It's BMW going in right here. Huge for his 2nd kill from the side. Able to drop that diffuser. It's a 1-on-3 right now. Talon seem to be bringing this to go to overtime. And I don't know who chose what side there, but we're definitely going to be seeing, I think, to go see it go to the complete end of 8-7. Not sure who will be taking it as of yet. Papilia right now at a 1-on-3 with 20 seconds. I don't think he's going to be able to clutch this one, as Labby puts up some shots right there, but won't be able to get the kill yet. It's eventually going to be 1 to be found. Still 2 more to be, get into. Not going to be able to do that. Most likely BD stucking himself in, just as BMW holding the vertical. Picks up the final frag, and it's Talon to win the round. We are going to OT, as Nora-Rengo took too long to attack right here.
BD has had a quiet game, but a double C4 kill like that will win you everything. It was kind of funny because I was about to comment before that play came out. I was like, not sure how I feel about burning a C4 to open and rotate here when you have a castle and a smoke on side who can open these, sorry, a mute on side who can open these things up for you. It was kind of a a missed rotation. I thought, well, that C4 is no longer of use. Normally, you'd use that on the downstairs to try and play vertically. But don't worry about it. 2 birds or 2 kills with 1 stone or 1 C4, in this case, coming out of BD is more than enough from below. It feels like Nora-Rengo played straight into the setup there, coming out of Talon. A good round for them. Still kind of came down to an opportunity where you sense that Papillion might be able to pull it back. But the rotates in the later round really coming up big for them. In the prior round, let's not forget, there were a couple of Nomad air jabs that were down that called out both of the late round rotates that came through and netted a free kill for the side of Nora-Rengo. I think in that case, they just didn't have enough time to get themselves set up properly, because normally you would go for your air jab setups onto things like White Stairs once you have control of the top floor. They never had it because they were getting C4'd out from below.
That was the big issue there, that huge C4 that basically changed everything, bringing it all the way into the favor of Talon. And as right now, they will be choosing to go up to that kitchen yet again. We'll see the garage being reinforced, meaning they'll have to use their utility if they want to create a line of sight into that freezer, as there is a rotate. So I kind of like that one. I like that idea, not to give it out for free, and it's basically not valuable enough, I would say, for Yoshingo to use one of his X-Kairos on it, meaning that a bakery push would be more likely in this case.
The biggest fear here is that it's Talon starting out on defense. We've already seen how that second half went. I mean, it was 4 and 2 apiece, right? So I guess you could say it was balanced, but I think it is very clear that when it comes down to actually going for, I don't want to say executes, but because they haven't been great from Nora-Rengo, when it comes down to the fights, that's where no doubt Nora-Rengo has the advantage on the attacking side. Both teams, to be fair, have looked great on the attack. I really can't take that away from either side in terms of their ability to hunt down and terminate those that are trying to play their own game. So, as you said, it's anyone's guess. This should go to all 3 rounds, in my opinion, and end 8-7. That's just how close the game has felt.
Unless Talon managed to pick up this round right here, that would put them in such a big advantage, both mentally and statistically, that they might be able to close it out with an 8-6. Of course, same goes for Nora-Rengo if they manage to pick this one up, and then miraculously pick up their defensive round as well, as we'll be swapping over to that right after this one. It could just as well become an 8-6, but it really needs proper play on the defense to come out, as PMW right now wants to dig himself a bit deeper into this garage to play in contact with BD. Should be droned out, indeed, here he is, but if he rotates out, that could be the potential kill to come in. No, actually, no one there to respond on it. He's allowed to rotate back safely. I'd have put the Ash on the actual White Stairs there to reply for, just in case they find someone there, but they're not eventually happening, and because of that, Nora missing out on that first kill. It was actually a freebie if they won for the plan that I just described. But 1 minute left. Again, Nora-Rengo not near the site. They really need to get their time management up and not just purely rely on the fights that they always win.
It's what hurts me a little bit. Like, I always think back to teams like Secret in the European League, and normally inside 60 seconds, they've droned everything out in the prep phase. They know exactly where they're running in. They have 2 Saturn drones at the start, and they get their sledge inside of train ASAP to start opening the floor up. But here it's taking double that amount of time for Nora-Rengo to get control of this area of the map every single time. And it's looking I don't know, it does force them into these awkward late round rushes as we're seeing right now. There's going to be a drop coming in. You drop straight into smoke, though. That's never a good idea. And you've got the cross angle being held by BD that has not been dealt with. The 5 versus 4, making a 4 versus 4 as they try and push, but it's BD with a second. He's had a good couple of rounds here in this late stage of the game, but they're in a spot where it's still a 3 versus 3. Despite it looking scrappy and messy, it's still going to be Nora-Rengo in a spot to go for a plant, and this time they deal with the Evil Eye. I like that small change.
Definitely they were dealing with it indeed, but it's going to be Papillion right now to try and hold up on this freezer. Is it going to be the win? No, it's not. It was a bit of debris right there, blocking off his line of sight. It's a 2-2 right now after plant in favor of Nora-Rengo. And I was going to say, surely Talon should be able to win this one after what just happened, but it's going to be a 1-on-1 situation. Now the last grenade will be able to kill someone. Papillion will win it out. Nora-Rengo managed to clutch that round. I don't think they should have won it when they went for the hedge drop. I thought it was a suicide action to go through, but the smoke canister is not in time to actually deal enough damage to, well, ease them up a little bit for that Evil Eye up top right there, as that did 50 damage to that sledge. Like, if you would have helped just a little bit with the smoke canisters a bit earlier on, that plant never would have gone down. That round could have been Talon's. They're going up to their attack right now as Nora swaps back to the defense. And I kind of have faith in Talon here. Their attacks seemed really good. It's more like the defenses of Nora. They didn't seem to have an idea of what was going on at all times. They tried to respond, but were instantly shut down. Of course, that goes both ways because Nora was also super effective in shutting down whatever Talon brought on their defense. But I think this should be a 7-7, and then, well, it's going to be coming down to that last round yet again.
Oh, it's crazy that you can drop into smoke like that and cannot get murdered for it as well. Like, the one question I had in there from Talon, and the one thing I will call out, I've harped against Nora-Rengo quite a while in this half, or in the last half, sorry, saying, attacks are slow, like, why is it taking so long to get these things done? My question there comes to Talon is, why did it take so long to rotate people into trying to defend service? They were very clearly dropping in. The call should have come through from BD straight away. They're coming service, they've dropped hatch. That's where the plant attempt is going to be. People don't just drop freezer for no reason. It takes the post-plant situation for the Maestro to start rotating over from bakery side, even when the gadgets are being removed along the way. So it was a bit of a slow on the uptake kind of story, I think, from Talon there to let that plant go in so comfortably. There was no one trying to push him from red corridor. There was no one looking to threatening him inside of cooking itself. And just a little bit slow on the uptake from them. So I will give Nora-Rengo some credit there. Their attack was very, very fast. They got the plant down in record time, and it was tough for Talon to be able to adapt.
The thing that worries me is that if they drop hatch, they open up the hatch, they're trying to, fight the smoke from there. Smoke is being challenged, but yet there's still 2 or 3 people in bakery in that moment in time. It's not really the way you want to deal with it. You want to get your people inside the site as quickly as possible so you can actually deal with a situation like that, because it was only the sledge in the end that was going to be able to defend himself. And well, as soon as you go for that defuser, you cannot even defend yourself anymore, as Papillia was just holding up the freezer for that one player that was still there. So if those 2 players would have been rotating back to side just a bit earlier, or were already present there, that should have been the round for Talon. Just a small mistake right there in that playstyle, in that way that they executed their defense. They might be able to pick up on for later rounds, as Mario trying to contest right here. But PMW is just going to be swinging in with that Blackbeard and making sure he has the control of piano.
I mean, it feels like a long time now since we've seen Talon on the attack, so I'm hoping we're going to see similar to what we saw back in the first half. And admittedly, some of the rounds, as we saw, did swing the way of Nora-Rengo. Only 4 rounds went to the side of Talon. The sites that Nora-Rengo did win were Bar and Cocktail and Kitchen and Service, and a lot of that came down to kind of growing into the half. I felt they started off pretty poor when Talon took 2 rounds, but over time did slowly turn things around, just by being a bit more composed in their play. Speaking of composure, it's Soulboy. My God, this guy is on fire today with opening frags. He's going to pick up Labyrinth nice and early.
And that's the first member of Talon gone, and that is actually a good thing right here for Nora-Rengo. Papillia needs to be aware. Oh, walks right into the grenade and will be finished off by BD. Bring it back to a 4-on-4, but as Mario goes down right now, the favor, well, seems to be falling in the hands of Talon right here. Yes, Tomorrow is low. Yes, Ag is low. Could easily be cleaned up by a Smoke or Yoshingo. But they need to get that control first. And as right now, 50 seconds are left. Talon, they need to make their way up to the side, but the members of Nora-Rengo are pretty spread out. They're basically everywhere. And there's no clean way to go actually and enter that site for Talon right now. Unless they would go for reading, as there's basically no one located in that door. Only Soulboy who could be running out, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like they want to push from white stairs. I'm not quite sure what their plan is right here, because it seems to be a bit all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Talon as well, they've only got 1 drone on side. It's not going to stop Tomorrow finding a double kill back into the form that we saw him all the way in the first half. And absolutely the numbers advantage now sat massively with Talon. We're definitely going all the way to the 15th round by the looks of it. That plant's going down. They're in a spot where they should be able to get this final frag. Yoshingo's going to step up and find one. Can he stop the default plant spot in time, mind you? Tries to go for the spray. Won't quite finish it off and does indeed get put down. It was close, but this time round, Talon come out on top. Round 15 going to determine which way this game ends. And I still can't call which team is going to take it.
Still don't know either. The defenses seem to be getting closer and closer as this matchup progresses. Especially that last one. Talon had the opportunity to win it if they just adapted a bit earlier on the push that was being brought by Nora-Rengo. But they did not in the end. And while Nora-Rengo managed to get that round in, put themselves into a match point. Now both these teams are a match point. There is no infinite overtimes right here. Just the maximum amount of 3 rounds, which we often get to see to go the entire way. And right now, Talon on that defense, not favored at all, as the attack seems to be winning most of these rounds, if I recall correctly. We've had 4 defensive ones and 10 attack ones so far, meaning statistics favor Nora-Rengo for this one. But maybe Talon has something else to say about that.
The good old saying, Hap, in God we trust, all others bring data. And data is what I love, and what you said there is absolutely true. 10 and 4 on the attacking side. I worry. I do worry for Talon here. It's been a great game, to be fair. Nora-Rengo showing excellent gunplay in the final executes whenever it's counted. Talon, I would wager, have been a little bit strategically stronger, although that does seem to be how things play out for the side of Nora-Rengo in the last few games, is that when it comes down to clicking heads, they are one of the best at it. Although we looked at that scoreboard not too long ago, and you can see how both teams have weighed in. Both teams have got every single player stepping up. You can look down the left and right of your screens right now. You're seeing Simatuki being the guy who's breaching on 10, but everyone else is hovering in those kind of 5 to 10 range. So it's not been a game where it's down to 1 or 2 players popping off here. It has felt like a team effort on both sides. The final site is going to be Reading and Fireplace. That is where Talon have chosen to commit themselves, and why wouldn't you? After that incredible play earlier on in the very, very final round of normal time, we had that incredible 2KC4 come out of BD to close the round out very comfortably for Talon. Can they repeat it once again is the biggest question right here. This is the site they've got the best chance on in my mind. They've just beat Nora-Rengo on it. If they can do it again here, that is going to be mega.
It wasn't just the double C4 to come in, it was also PMW just being so mobile on that Mozzie, going for flanks left and right, harassing the likes of Nora-Rengo, that even if they were 2 men down from the start due to that C4, he wasn't going to be allowing them to breathe any bit, just by keep on punching them, keep on hitting them from the side, picking up a kill there, and then finishing it off in the end. And well, if he manages to at least repeat that, it should be a good start on the likes of Talon. If he's going to be as impactful as he was before, he should be able to win this round. As Simatuki right here, opening up that window, will force BMW out. It's going to be letting him think about his current plans, his game plan, about how to approach this flank.
A good setup here on the east side of the building as well. So rather than trying to push him from the west, coming in blind because of all the mute jammers and the Mozzie pests that are set down, there looks like to be some attempt coming in here on towards the west. And interestingly, also got this castle barricade done up here. That is just saying you can't see us, you can't shoot us. You best start burning some utility if you want to force us away. This is such a heavy hold, though, coming in inside of Cocktail. You can see in front of you 2 ADSs and a mute jammer along with the castle barricade. Talon do not want to let go.
They definitely don't want to let go. They want to win this round. They want to have that win on the board. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you get that result in the end. And as there's only 1 minute left, it's Yashingo to fall first tomorrow with a huge kill to start off, and he manages to survive. Somehow escapes with his life, but in the meantime, it's to repel in to come down from this eastern window, prepared to pick up one, instantly rotate out, not challenging any further, knowing there's more people on that top floor, but that is kind of an issue right here. The diffuser has dropped the cigar with 50 seconds left. They're uncertain whether or not it's safe or not, and they still have full top floor control on the likes of Talon to try and deny these kind of planks to come through. As BD and Labby both pick up one, there should be a Talon match to come in. Soulboy with the SMG manages to pick up no one, as it's only up to Simatuki now. He's trying to take the top floor control, but with 30 seconds left and in 1-on-3, he might not be able to find anybody, as he's slowly cutting down his stairs right here. He's going on for some free fires. The C4 will be ending it all, potentially no. It's missing the shot, but the flank from above will do. It's the SMG from Labby that will finish it off, and Talon that take it with an 8-7 in overtime right here, but they proved to be the better team.
All it took was some unexpected flanks coming out there as well. The Nomad jabs not being down in the right place. You saw Tomorrow charge his way through Piano up into Zagat, kill someone, not get traded, and then make it back to joining his team. It's unbelievable that he managed to pull that one off. This time round, it didn't come down to a Mega C4 play. It just came down to a lot of fluid play coming out of Talon, and that is a win well-deserved, I think. They put the effort in. Nora-Rengo were a worthy adversary, but ultimately they come out on top. And I've got to say again, Soulboy had a wonderful game on the opening kills there. I think I took it down as about 6 in the end for him. Unbelievable play, but sadly not quite enough to pull them all the way through.
Definitely PMW and Tomorrow very important on these defensive rounds. PMW with, of course, round 12, the flank that basically kept them alive as well and just harassed them. And Tomorrow right there just to pop up, get that kill, drop the diffuser, waste some more time and somehow escape with your life. I think if that kill would have gone the other way, it would have been Nora-Rengo still alive fighting right now, but it's going to be up to the analysts to see what they have to say about this.
Thank you so much, Dan. Yes, we are very much back.